Yeah. Welcome to the live. Adams Polish's Wednesday live video today. Doing something kind of cool. A little bit different. I mean, I think this is something that our industry has adopted. I don't know, a long time ago. I'll touch on that later. But yeah, just let me know if the mic's working. It should be working today. I checked it. Got a lot of complaints last week. Sorry. Technical difficulties are a reality, and we do our best, but with what we have to work with, you know, we're just trying to bring the best information to you guys. And the live is also like a less formal deal. Like, I mean, just take an hour out of our day, do it really quick, and hopefully it brings you guys some value. My mic's work. It should all be working.
Should be fine.
And it says on the recording app that it's working as well.
Yeah, so I got it.
All the mics
So
are
it should be
working.
fine. Yep, we're good.
Are you sure? You guys tell us in the comments if you can hear us or not. This means no audio. This means we're doing good. Let's see. We'll just wait for a second. I was going to let you guys know I'm going to be heading out to Barrett-Jackson tomorrow, actually. I leave early in the morning and going out to shoot some content there, hang out with Adam. We have 2 detail clinics if you're in the Arizona area. One's like a specific detail clinic, and then the other one, I will be there working and teaching people. But at Auto Car Club, I think it starts at 8 in the morning. Bring a Trailer is doing a big event there, and we're going to be in Auto Club's detail bay working on, teaching polishing, ceramic coating, mainly that. If there's anything else people want to know, I'll be teaching them that as well. And then same time, Adam is going to be at our Scottsdale location, and he's doing like a full-on detail clinic there. So if you're in the area, go check that out. It's a really good opportunity to like be hands-on and right next to right next to Adam, myself, to get like a real explanation of like how the products work, but also like we tend to like put the bottles and the polishers and everything in your hand so you can really feel it. So
Yeah, do you plan on coming to California while we're on the topic of that to do a detail?
planning on coming to California. I'm not specifically. Adam goes out there a couple times a year, but Anthony, who runs that store, he does a ton of detail clinics throughout the year. So like just keep up with the Instagram and Facebook page. Also, if you're local to that area, if you just swing in and ask him, he can give you a pretty good answer on that. But I tend to not do that. We're trying to do more here actually in Colorado. Just can't do it right now. Here, come here really quick. I want you guys to feel this because we got hit with the bomb cyclone here. So you can see it's been snowing here. It's about 20 degrees today. So detailing in Colorado is not quite what you would expect. Got a lot of ice on the ground. It's just not ideal cleaning weather. So, and that's actually partially why I picked the topic that we're doing today. We're using a product called Hoseless wash, not to be mistaken for, or can be mistaken for, rinseless wash. We used to have a product called rinseless wash. It was blue, and we reformulated it and turned it into Hoseless wash. So, marketing decided that they wanted to create a product that you don't need with the hose. So, rinseless wash, same concept here. So, I'm going to walk you through it. I have, as my setup stuff right now, I have, hold on. So I have 2 premium buckets. You can come over here, Elin. 2 premium buckets here. Both have just clean water in them. And this one actually has some wheel cleaning tools. So a wheel face brush and a barrel brush, or not a barrel brush, an angled wheel brush. Then this one just has clean water. And just so you know, like we don't have a great way of filling up hot water. So I took it into the bathroom. I filled it up about a quarter of a way with the hottest water I can get. Then I came outside and I filled it the rest of the way with cold water. So it's offset, so it's like warm water right now. Like fairly pleasant, feels pretty good. I also have just like a regular 5-gallon bucket, non-premium, right here. And this one has more hot water in it than the other ones. And what I'm going to do first before I start, I grabbed a bottle of, it's a 16-ounce bottle of our towel and pad revitalizer. So these towels I'm going to use are going to get crazy dirty, really dirty, because essentially what I'm doing is I'm using plush towels to take the dirt and grime off of the car, but I'm not going to reintroduce it. It's not like washing your car where you go against the grate at the bottom of the buckets and then keep going. Okay, because what I don't have the ability to do right now is rinse the car off with a pressure washer. So I can't get the majority of the dirt and grime off. So my towels are going to get very, very dirty. So what I like to do is take some towel and pad revitalizer, and I have this hot water here, and I'm going to pour, that's about, I don't know, 5 to 6 ounces. I probably did more than I need to, but I like to do more because of how dirty the towels are going to get. And I poured that into my hot water, just standard 5-gallon bucket. So as I go through this process, what I don't want to do is, and you'll see it here in a second, but I'm going to have my plush towels in the clean water. I don't want to put that back in there, okay? Because, well, it's going to be the Hoseless wash solution, but I don't want to put it back in there because I don't want the dirt to disperse within my water and then put it back on the car. So once my towels are completely used up or soiled, I'm going to drop them in my towel cleaning bucket that I'm going to keep handy close by. So the goal is to not get any dirt or grime that I take off of the car back onto the car. So, and if I soak them in there, it's going to really clean them a lot. And then I'll just do a normal washing cycle with my microfiber towels, and then they'll be pretty much new again. So that's partially why like using the solution is very important. I have a 16-ounce bottle of CS3. This is kind of my finishing touch product at the end, and there's a reason behind that. CS3, the CS stands for ceramic spray, which means it has silica content or SiO2 content, and then the 3 stands for 3 different things it does. It cleans, it shines, and it protects. So the protect, already we talked about with the silica in there, so it's kind of like a silica spray sealant, I guess you could call it. The clean part of it is it has a lubricating agents that waterless wash has, okay? So I need that so my towel glides and reduces scratching while I do this process. And then the shine, it just has shine enhancement like detail spray has. So graphene CS3 is another great option. I just prefer this one. I don't know why. The user experience for me seems to be, I just like it a little bit better. I couldn't tell you exactly why, but graphene CS3, you can also use that as well. It's the same concept, just has reduced graphene oxide paired with it to make the protection last longer. Then I have a bottle of Hoseless wash, which essentially is a super, super concentrated version of our waterless wash, all right? And then I already went and put this together, but this is mega foam inside of a foaming IK sprayer. Okay, so I have this thing pressurized already, and I'll show you why I'm going to use that here in a second. We actually used to have a product called, I think it was Foam and Seal maybe is what it was called. We discontinued it because the raw material that is used to make that we don't have access to anymore, so we had to discontinue that product. So I'm using the same concept as that, but I'm just going to use mega foam instead. So and then actually what I'm going to do really quick is, I know there's a bottle of waterless wash over here. Actually, let's see. Got some. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I have an empty bottle IK trigger sprayer that was detail spray. I'm going to use it in a different way. So I'm actually going to take this first, this IK, and I'm going to put it into clean water, and I'm going to fill this up. I have it about, I don't know, I call it 3/4 of the way. Then I'm going to take my Hoseless wash, and I'm going to add a few ounces of this to here. Like so. So essentially what I just did is I created my own version of waterless wash into this IK trigger sprayer. The reason why I do that is this is going to be like my pre-treatment thing. So on the dirtiest areas of the car, I want to pre-treat it with my waterless wash solution I just created. Now, with the hoseless wash I have here, I'm not going to measure it with cap fills or anything like that. I think for me, I like to tailor this to how dirty the car is or maybe how not dirty the car is. So like if the car is, this is very dirty, it's snowstorm, after a snowstorm, so it's extremely dirty. But if the car wasn't as dirty, like maybe it was a rainstorm, it's not as dirty, I might use 3 ounces. In this case, I might use a little bit more, but I'm just gonna pour this in here. I think that's pretty good. That's probably around 4 or 5 ounces like that. Now, the thing that I'm not too worried about, like I can just set this aside now and I have this for the next time I do this process, but the thing you'll notice is we're not gonna use all of the hoseless wash solution during this process. So what I can do actually is, after I'm done doing this, I can just push my bucket to the side, and then when I come back to do it again, granted the water will be a little bit colder, I can just put towels directly into it because there's no dirt or grime inside of that solution. So kind of the main purpose of rinseless wash and hoseless wash was to conserve water. You have water restrictions in California, Arizona, different places in the United States. How do you wash your car without using 20 gallons of water while you're using a pressure washer or a garden hose? Well, you can do this hoseless wash process that was actually originated by a guy named Gary Dean. It's called the Gary Dean wash method. He's the one who came up with it, and then everybody kind of took a hold of it, made their own solutions, made a rinseless wash. There's a couple other products that are very popular that do kind of a very similar thing, but it's sort of a highly concentrated, highly lubricated cleaning solution, which essentially grabs onto the dirt, pulls it away, encapsulates it, and then when you wipe with your towel, it glides instead of rubs the dirt into the surface. So now, before I just jump into it, I'm going to take questions here in a second, but I have my wetsuit gloves I wore last week for winter washing. I'm going to wear these during this process as well. So go ahead, Elon.
Mark Russell didn't say, you're saying the volume is really low too. I don't know why. Everyone's volume is super low, even though their phones are up to 100%.
Oh, it might be, it's probably on this thing. You have your phone?
Yeah.
You want to call Chris really quick?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Not sure why it's so low, but we're going to get Chris down here and he's going to come fix it for you guys.
Because you have a mic on, right?
Yeah, it's this thing right here.
You have a mic on?
You have a mic on right here. You can see it all connected. Here's the, hey, listen, I'm an informant. I'm wearing a wire. But what happens is, when we use it on our nice cameras, it actually is too loud, so we have to turn it down on the mic. And then when we use it on a phone, it's not loud enough. So we're gonna get Chris down here to turn the gain up, essentially. Chris is coming down. I can talk like this if that helps. I'll just,
Watch that belly though.
hey now. So I got my hoseless wash solution. I got a clean bucket of water with just 2 wheel cleaning tools. There.
Another question. Sorry, real quick. Can you use single softs instead of those borderless?
Oh yeah, somebody asked, can you use single soft towels instead of borderless gray? 1,000%. And to be honest with you, I prefer double soft towels or single soft towels. And the reason why is, hold on one second, Chris is about to make your guys' ears hurt. Hopefully not hurt. Chris, I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you actually run?
I didn't actually run.
Okay.
I walked very fast.
Okay, good. I wish I could have seen you run. Let me know if this is better, the audio. I'm still talking like pretty loud, but let me know if that's better for you guys, for your volume. Hopefully it is. Chris is also listening on the live right here.
There's a delay though, so you can keep going and I'll
Okay.
adjust as we go.
Okay, so somebody asked, can you use single soft towels for this process? And like I was saying, I actually prefer using a single soft or double soft towel. The reason being is because those towels are white, it shows more of the dirt that you're pulling off of the car. But Gray, you'll notice it's gonna be a little bit hard to see like what you're pulling off because some of this is white and brown. So like it almost turns gray when it gets onto your towel. So having single softs or double soft towels is a lot better of a process because you can really see the work that you're doing. But in this case, because we're in the middle of winter, we don't have we should probably have all of our supplies ready, but I just grabbed through our bag that we just did laundry with, and there were more of the borderless gray than there were single soft. So it doesn't matter as long as you're using plush towels, meaning like loose fiber, microfiber towels that absorb a lot of water, but it's very soft to touch on your car. So before I jump into this, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna move this aside. I'm taking my pre-treatment solution and I'm going to the dirtiest parts of the car. So like you can really see there's a lot of dirt sitting on here, but when you move up here, it's not as bad. So I don't need to spray the whole car down, but mainly like this, and you can actually see it starts to kind of dissolve that stuff already before I even like get into the cleaning portion of it. So this is my pre-treatment. And you'll notice like when you do this part of the process, you'll actually start to see the dirt start to hit the ground. So I'm also hitting the wheels as well. The mirror right here.
Yeah, underside of the mirror.
Yep, down here. And if I accidentally like spray a bunch of the car, doesn't matter because this is only gonna help.
Front bumpers and more like this.
And I'm gonna tell you this right now, if you have access to a pump multi-sprayer from IK, I highly recommend it because my forearms are barking right now. It's like, this is not the workout I needed, but I guess the workout I'm gonna get. So I go through and pre-treat.
Can you get those at Adams?
These IK sprayers?
Yep.
Yeah, you can get these IK sprayers at Adams. We have so many different kinds. I mean, we have these ones which are I think a 24 ounce, 28 ounce. We also have ones that are smaller, but they have the weighted straw in it. So like if you turn it over, it will still spray if you have the sprayer like this. We also have, we have almost every kind that you can get. We have ones that are pump sprayers like that, which foams. You'll see that here in a second. We also have the same version, but sprays, so it doesn't foam. We also have they look like, what's it called? Weed eater type of, or why can't I think of the name of that? Like the weed solution you spray on your weeds to, weed be gone type. Yeah, like the big tall, you pump it and then there's a big wand to it. You could just walk around and spray it. We also have battery powered ones of those. So we kind of have everything under the sun when it comes to sprayers that are not the ones that come standard with your product.
And just real quick, remind people what's in that of your pre-wash.
This is a customized waterless washing solution that I diluted water with waterless wash. And usually what I do with that...
Waterless or hoseless?
Hoseless wash, I'm sorry. Because essentially hoseless wash is just a highly concentrated version of waterless wash. And so what you can do with hoseless wash, you can actually use, I used a little bit more hoseless wash solution to make my customized waterless wash pre-treatment. And I used more hoseless wash than I probably needed to if I was just making a waterless wash. And the reason why is I want the cleaning power of it and the lubrication power of it. I'm not going to do the other side of the car because it's just too hard for Elin, and I'll do it after we're done with the live.
And then, this is totally off topic. Have you thought about doing an anti-fog live video at any point?
Anti-fog live video, how about next week? I have a few of them coming up that I've been planning for. One of them is like iron remover, essentially combining iron remover and the claying process together. That's one that I want to do coming up. And then another one is we'll do anti-fog. We'll show you like how to go through that process, which I think is a cool video. Okay, so after I pre-treat, which I'm really happy with, I move on to, I kind of think about this rinseless wash or hoseless wash process is almost like I'm actually washing my car outside with like the pressure washer. So if we think about this, the first thing we do when it comes to washing our car when we're using a pressure washer is we rinse the car off. So like pre-treatment, let's just call it like that's pre-treatment, right? So we just did that. The second thing you would do is you would foam on top of your car using the foam cannon with like Mega Foam or whatever soap you're using. That's what this is for, okay? So this foaming sprayer, I did 4 squeezes of Mega Foam into water that was filled up to about here, and I've already pumped this. Now, this pump sprayer is really cool. Like as you pump it, what I like to do, about 25 pumps is what I like to do. You can go more. Once you hear this part go like that as you're pumping, that means there's pressure coming out the top. Now you're ready to start spraying. So
And that's Mega Foam, not Hoseless.
this is Mega Foam. Yeah, hoseless wash won't foam when you use it. And like I said before, we had a product called, I think it was called Foam and Seal. I don't know if it was
There's a foam and wash.
Foam and Wash is what it was called.
Yeah,
Foam and Wash is the product, and we used to carry that. But like I said, the raw material that we use to formulate that product, we don't have access to it now. Like that company, I think, went out of business or something. So we are unable to continue to make that over at B&B Blending. And so we had to discontinue it. And actually sold out, so we discontinued it. So instead of doing Foam and Wash, I'm doing Mega Foam in my sprayer. So you'll see, so like I said, we pre-treated, now we're foaming the car down. And I'm foaming right over the top of the pre-treatment solution that I already sprayed on here. And all this is going to do is really help. You know, I think when you're washing your car, more of the foaming process, it actually does multiple things. One would be neutralize the water. In this case, I don't need to neutralize water because I neutralized it already with the hoseless wash solution. This is more of a way to put a layer of extra lubrication on the car while I go through this process. So just a little tip from me as far as this goes. I will say that about as far as you can reach going back and forth, by the time you get to the bottom panel of the part of the car you're working on, this starts to run out of pressure. So don't try to do too much before you move on to the next thing. I'm gonna foam right over this wheel as well. So like I said, I can kind of go from here to about here. So I'm gonna start here and we'll just go side to side. Like so. For all you young guys watching this, I know you don't remember this SNL skit. I'm not calling you out, Mark, for being old, but I know you remember this skit. But Kevin Nealon and I think it was Dana Carvey had this skit on SNL where they're like big bodybuilders and they go like, "You got to pump it up," and they were like almost doing an impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger. But that was like their saying. I always think about that when I do use this IK sprayer. I'm like, you gotta pump it up. Okay. Yeah, that's it, exactly. So check this out. What I want you guys to see is like I started foaming here. If you look on the ground where the foam is coming off of the car, you can see how dirty it is. So like this is a big piece of this process because not only does the mega foam help with the lubrication, but the weight of the foam, gravity pulls it off of the car. So I'm already, without even touching the car, I'm already getting dirt off, right? So anytime we can do that we can reduce the amount of dirt we're gonna touch with our towel or that we touch ourselves going onto the car, the better. So this is, you know, it's kind of like that idea of rinsing the car first with your pressure washer, getting as much loose dirt and grime off first. That's kind of what we're doing right here. And part of the pre-treatment solution that we diluted Hoseless wash is also helping pull dirt away from the car, and then the megafoam grabs onto it, pulls it off. So down here, I'll probably go over this twice. I want it to be a little bit more thick because I do want the foam to fall off the car, to bring as much of the dirt with it. So I'm just spending a little bit of extra time down here. Now, one thing I will say, I actually, when I was setting this up, had strip wash ready. But strip wash is something that, and I was wrong on the last live. I said it was more alkaline. It's actually more acidic. And so I was thinking about doing strip wash, but strip wash is one of those things that you want to eventually get off of the car. And in this case, I can't rinse it off with a pressure washer. I'm just wiping it off essentially. And so what I will do is, in this case, this is like a winter washing process for me right now. What I will do is I will save strip wash for the next time I do a full, like a full wash with the pressure washer and everything else. And my solution's pretty much gone like that. Okay, I think that's good enough for right now. The like less dirty parts I'm not as worried about. It's more of like from kind of the belt line below and then like the very dirty spots that are over here. So like I can't believe how much dirt's coming off of this car. Just, I haven't not even come close to touching it. So now what I'm gonna do, first thing I'm actually gonna set, just for now, I'm gonna keep a reserve of 2 towels. I have 6 total borderless gray here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, okay? These 4, I'm going and I'm putting them inside of my Hoseless wash solution right now. Like this, just dunk it in there, okay? And before, like, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to get as much of the solution incorporated with the towel. Like that. Now while these soak in here, what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna take my wheel cleaning tools, and part of the reason why I have this clean water is it's almost like cleaning the wheels, but I can dunk this in here to get the dirt and grime off. So I'm just gonna take this and clean, and I'm not trying to do this like 1000% perfect. And if you remember, I sprayed the pre-treatment solution in here, so I have a ton of lubricity, but I also hit it with the mega foam. So I just want to get these as clean as possible. I'm not there. One thing I do want to mention is like there's very much a reality to this process. Like doing this process, you're not going to get it nearly as perfectly clean as you would outside with the pressure washer. It's just the way it works. I want to get my car looking presentable for my own standards. This isn't even my car, but get my car presentable on my own standards. but having also like a perspective that like I can't get this 100% perfect, you know. So I'm just gonna do the best I can. So I like to dunk it and then squeeze it out to get as much of the dirt and grime off as possible. And then I'll switch to this really fast.
Would you ever have maybe some tire and rubber on you too to spray onto the tires, or you're not too worried about it?
I probably wouldn't do tire and rubber cleaner during this process just because that's something I want to fully rinse off with the pressure washer. This is more just like getting the dirt and grime off. So if anything, what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll just run it over to clean the tires off, but not like rip out the brown and nastiness from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the one thing I would say too, I didn't do this, but you could add some Mega Foam or regular car shampoo to this, maybe Eco Wheel Cleaner, just to have some lubricating agents in this clean water solution for when you're doing this process. You know, so this is more of like soap. Like the reason why it's sudsy is because of the Mega Foam that was on there. But they're not perfect, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm not even gonna try to go into the fender wells. I will here when I get to using the Hoseless wash, but as far as it goes, I'm trying to get my car presentable, not perfectly clean, you know. And that would be my gripe with this process, is that exact thing of like, you can do a rinseless or a hoseless wash or rinseless wash in your car, but it's definitely not going to be perfect. But the thing about it is, in regions that, you know, this process is being used to conserve water, you know, those are usually drought areas, so they don't get a lot of rain and snowy weather like we do here. So your car doesn't nearly get as dirty as it does in Colorado, you know. So, and the one thing I also want to say to you guys is, the process I'm doing today is like an extreme, the car's in extreme condition, right? Like, I'm fine with doing this. I know I'm going to scratch the car minimally, but I also know that in the spring, I'm going to polish the car eventually. So like, I'm not too worried about, I want to make the car look clean, but you know, if I do a little bit of swirl marks, it doesn't matter, even if the car is ceramic coated, because I can still one-step polish a ceramic coated car, make it look perfect, reapply spray coating, and boom, there you go, I'm off and running. But this process, aside from the wheel cleaning portion, maybe you could do the wheel cleaning portion, but this is the perfect process for anybody that lives in an apartment, a condo, or somewhere where you don't have access to water. You can also utilize this process as a mobile thing. So if you're on like a road trip and you want to really get your car presentable and clean, you know, you could drive 500, 600 miles, get to the parking lot of your hotel, go fill up a bucket with hot water, throw 4 or 5 towels in there, hoseless wash solution, and you can go through and do your whole car like that. So you can get as creative as you want with this process, you know. But the one thing I will say is, like, if I keep up with this process, like let's say this was my garage and it was like every week or every 2 weeks, I kept up with this process, especially in an area where it snows a lot. When I go do the winter washing process out of pay and spray or in my driveway, there's less dirt on the car that I have to deal with. You're not spending as much time doing that wash. So like, this is kind of upkeep and maintenance. Then you get into utilizing strip wash and all the other stuff to really deep clean your car. So, you know, I just want you guys to,
Pick whatever that is right there away.
I mean, this is like a pallet area for the warehouse now, so. And part of the reason why I'm doing the angled wheel brush is because brake dust buildup, you know, like it could end up like bonding to your wheel, and then you have more problems than you need. And so just trying to get that stuff off of there initially is very important. So just keeping up with it, making sure I don't have that on there. And you know, usually when I'm using the angled wheel brush, when I pull this out of the bucket, I wring this out. So there's like not a lot of water on there. In this case, I actually want more of the water to dilute whatever I'm scrubbing with.
Is the strip wash comparable to the salt, mud, and grime? removal
Yeah,
that we
yeah, it's
use?
definitely comparable.
I don't know if they can hear me, but maybe just
Oh yeah, somebody on the live essentially asked, is the salt, mud, and grime remover similar to strip wash? And my answer is yes. They're just, the concentration levels are different. You know, salt, mud, and grime remover is a AutoZone exclusive product. They requested it specifically.
AutoZone, Advanced Auto.
AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, like, yeah, like our brick and mortar stores were like, hey, we want something that it does this, you know? And so when you sell into a place like that, when you don't have people who have experience like you guys on the live, we made essentially like a strip wash version, but we like toned it down so it wasn't so, harsh is the wrong word, but like concentrated with like the cleaning power. So strip wash is sits more further on the acidic side of the kind of scale. You have pH neutral, which is right down the middle, which is pH 7. When you go left to 1, that's acidic. If you go right to, I can't remember the top of it, but that's alkaline, right? So our strip wash is pH 3, I think is what Chris told me. And so it's more of an acidic product. I'd probably say that salt, mud, and grime remover sits more on like the pH 5. So it's still acidic, but it's not like further down the scale essentially. And here's the thing, like for all you people out there that are professional detailers, we're also in the process of developing a professional line. And like we're in the process of trying to figure out an acid wheel cleaner, which is like highly requested from a lot of professional detailers, because it's something that's been in the industry forever. So
David said, I live in an apartment and I've been using rinseless since 2021.
yeah, same thing. This is essentially the same thing. We just updated the formula and changed the name. So if you're familiar with rinseless wash because you live in an apartment, which I think is amazing that you do that, hoseless wash is the same. That would be like the next thing you would get essentially. So who was that?
David Boyce.
David Boyce? Yeah, David. He's very familiar with this process. David, I hope like mine's a little bit more in depth because I have access to a lot of this stuff, but you know, I hope if the foaming part of it is new to you, I don't know, I would just recommend trying it because I think for me, it just makes sense. It's like similar to the actual washing process, but I think it's effective. Like I pulled all that dirt off onto the ground. So
Last Friday I did a dry rinseless,
yeah,
non-heated garage. Took 45 minutes.
Yeah, definitely time-wise, it's a lot less time. So, okay, so now I've done these wheels. Like I said, I'm doing the other side later. But I have my talent pad revitalizer solution in here, and we're gonna start doing the hoseless wash. I always want to say rinseless because that's what it used to be called, just like for David. But I have my 4 towels in here. Okay, so this super saturated with product. Essentially, what I'm going to do is I pull the towel out, I fold it into quarters. So I fold it once like this. Okay, then I fold it twice like this, and you can see it's dripping. So essentially what I want to do is, actually, sorry, let me start over. I did it wrong. When you pull it out, you hold it from a corner, so it's dripping like this. Grab it from the bottom, let it sit in your hand, and barely squeeze it to the point where when you hold it, it's not dripping water a ton. Then what we're going to do is fold this into quarters. So once, and then twice.
But it's still got a good amount of water.
Oh, it's very heavy. I bet this weighs 2 pounds to 2 or 3 pounds. Okay. Now the reason why I fold it into quarters is essentially I have one side. Let's see. I have 1, 2. If I fold it onto itself, 3, 4. Fold it again. 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 panels of this towel that I'm going to be able to use. So I like to start from the top and work my way down because it doesn't really matter, but if you do that, it almost feels like your towel goes a little bit further than normal. So what I'm doing is I'm setting this on here, I'm rolling, I'm holding my thumb here, and I'm rolling my hand as I wipe. Okay, so grab, roll, all the way like that. So you can see I started here And I had a fresh towel all the way to here because I'm rolling my hand as I do it. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I have a bunch of dirt right here, right here, right here, but it's not too bad. So I'm just gonna rotate the towel a little bit so I have more fresh side here.
Do this one really slow, and I just want to see that roll again.
Yep, so look right down the line right here.
Wash,
So set
wash
the-
his thumb. Yeah.
So as I'm wiping, I'm like rolling the whole time.
Yeah.
Like
So
that.
you're getting from here and all the way here,
Yep.
not just that one spot. of
It's
the
not
towel.
perfect, okay? I'm just gonna say it's not perfect, but my goal is to be wiping with the fresh side of the towel the whole time,
Yeah.
right? And when it's not overly dirty, I'll just keep going with that. And that's part of like doing it on the top, working to the bottom is like my towel can go a little bit further.
And then as far as like efficiency goes, sometimes, you know, Adam says instead of going from all the way right here all the way to the back,
Yep.
what if you did this panel here and went down?
Yeah, you're just
Then
you're just
down.
working as far as you can reach. I am not good at that.
Yeah.
Actually, when we shot video a year ago in Arizona, and he talked about rinsing a car with a pressure washer and only going as far as he can reach with his arm and then moving over, it was like, I never have heard anyone ever say that before. So
Yeah.
I learned pretty quickly. But so now you can see this is the side that it has a lot of this is the part of the borderless gray that I don't like. It's really hard for me to see the dirt and grime in here. But I know that I've already done, maybe I'll finish this window with this side of the towel. It's just not as dirty up top. And now I'll go down to here. That's more dirty. And then
You're looking at your towel when you do it?
every time I wipe, I look at my towel. So
And you were saying that's kind of dirty. I can go again with that.
yeah, like if it's not super, like here, watch this. Ready? I'll do, like if I go like this, you can see how much dirt is in here. Like all this dirt. So when it's visible like that, then I just take it and I flip it over, and now I have a fresh side of the towel here. So now I just do the same method as I go.
You wanna,
Wipe and roll.
Chester, doing the towel roll would worry me afraid of scratches. You're doing the towel roll to avoid scratches, right?
Yeah, I'm doing the towel roll to avoid scratches.
How
So
does that work? Why is that?
so check this out. Like if I set this on here, okay, and if I start wiping and I start lifting this off, where the dirt gets picked up on this part starts to be pulled away from the car. And as I wipe, it's like I have a fresh side of the towel the whole time I'm wiping like this, right? And I'm not pushing hard. It's just the weight of my hand, okay?
Yeah.
But because you're rolling, it's like you're starting on this part of the towel and then you're rolling it to like a fresh part of the towel the whole time. So yeah. So now let's go here. I don't know, man. I wish there was something called feel-o-vision, because I wish you guys could feel this. Like, I wish you could feel this process, because there's so much of a film on here with hoseless wash and the water, there's hoseless wash from the towel, there's mega foam from foaming it, and then there's pre-treatment from the hoseless wash dilution that I did. This towel feels like it's like really slick. It's like gliding on the surface. And so that to me just means that it doesn't feel like I'm like grinding dirt into this. You know what I mean? I actually have, the other thing you can do is like, this is my panel of the towel. You can see how dirty it's getting here. But right here, I never use this portion of the towel, or like right here. I can actually just grab this and fold the towel there. So it's like I'm just using that very, very clean portion of the towel to do like a wipe like that. And actually I can do that one more time. I'll do it down here. Like that. Okay. So now, get back to my panel. And like I said, we folded it into quarters. Now I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna fold it onto itself like this. So now I have another fresh side of the towel. Okay, so now we just come over here. And by the way, if you have a Viper chair, it's like one of the best things to have because they roll so perfect that I can kind of use the chair to really like maneuver around the areas I'm working on. And remember, like I said, like if you look right here, I have not wiped right here. This looks almost clean already. There's just mega foam and some stuff on here. But when you start getting down to the bottom, it's very visible of the dirt that's on here. So like for me, this wiping of this top portion, because the mega foam and the pre-treatment did a lot of the work already, is my towel's not getting very dirty. That's why every time I finish my wipe, I look at my towel. So now when I get down here, I know it's gonna be a lot more dirty. So I just got a ton of dirt right here on my first wipe right there, but not over here. So I'm just gonna grip this a little bit further.
Roger Snyder said, feel-o-vision, smell-o-vision.
Exactly.
So, Chris need to work on that. Willy Wonka.
Yeah, I mean, call up Bill Wonka. I mean, his name's William. Bill Wonka. That's like his brother's name.
Is it Bill? Why not just Bill?
Yeah, why not
Or
just
Billion?
why not just Billy Wonka? Get this wipe all the way down here. I know this is the dirtiest part of the car. Boom. Okay. Now listen, it's not perfect, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so I need to flip. Now here's another fresh side of the towel. I just flip from this side to this side. So I'll just keep moving over here.
Is this a better process for lighter colored cars, as darker vehicles will show more swim marks?
It doesn't matter. It's designed in a way that reduces the chance for scratching while you go through this process. So like, I think the thing to realize.
I don't know if they heard me, so.
Oh, did somebody ask that?
Yeah.
Somebody asked, like, is this a better process for light color vehicles versus darker color vehicles? Because when you do this process, you're going to get a bunch of scratches. I think that's a myth about waterless washing and rinseless washing or hoseless washing, is that this is going to make the car, you're going to scratch the car while doing this. But all the chemistry formulations are designed to reduce scratching while you go through this process. And like if you saw before, you know, the pre-treatment with megafoam on top pulled a lot of the dirt off already. So like a lot of my process here is like wiping a semi-dirty car. Like I'm almost doing like a waterless wash process. That, yeah, here's the thing. Anytime that you touch your car, doesn't matter if it's detail spray, if it's literally anytime you touch your car, you have a chance of scratching it. So like doing a hoseless wash, yes, I have a chance of scratching it. And because there's a lot of dirt on here, yeah, it might happen. But I also know that by the time I get to springtime, when I'm gonna polish my car again, because I always do a one-step polish and a graphene ceramic spray coating advanced every April and every October, like I'm not worried about it, but I want my car to be clean. So this hoseless wash solution with a pre-treatment in megafoam, there is so much lubrication and I guess you could say emulsification, which emulsification just means like the surfactants within the formulas are grabbing onto the dirt, pulling it away and emulsifying around it, meaning like the soap particles are like encapsulating the dirt particles. So then when my towel and the water and the hoseless wash solution touches it, it's surrounded by the surfactants and it makes it glide and you're not rubbing dirt into the surface. So yes, it might scratch a little bit, but you know, the fact that I can correct this eventually, I mean, I could do this hoseless wash 30 times before I feel like I would need to polish it. But I could also wipe my car with detail spray every week for a half of a year and then feel like I need to polish it as well. So like, I don't want you guys to think that I think this is like I'm not gonna say like intimidating, but I think this is like a crazy process to think about. But because of the lubricating agents in this, the process itself is designed to reduce scratching. You know, so in my thing too,
this process is just as important.
Yep, and my thing too is that like if you don't want as much scratching or less harsh of swirl marks, ceramic coat the car before you get into this process. You know, I'm not saying I need to ceramic coat it today, but like this car should have been ceramic coated before it went into winter. And if it is ceramic coated, ceramic coatings are harder than clear coats, so they don't take in as much damage, you know, or if get any damage at all. I just want to show you this really quick. So I've used all 4 of these panels, so you can see like the amount of dirt and grime that's on here. Now, if I flip this over, it's like a clean towel almost. So I'm going to fold it onto itself like that. And now what I'm going to do before I move on to another portion, I'm just going to hit these wheels really quick because I already went over them with the wheel face brush and the barrel brush, but I just want to give it one quick, like, I want to use a solution to almost like, I'm not like really rinsing them off, but just to get them nice and clean like that. Okay, now.
Quick, could you give a 1 to 2 sentences on graphene CS3 and why it would not be a pre-wash? One of them's asking, like, could you use it a pre-wash or what's it used for, graphene CS3?
Oh yeah, that's a good
So
question.
Like 1 or 2 sentences.
Elon, I can't do 1 or 2 sentences. You know that.
That's what I'm telling you.
Really quick, before I jump into like what CS3 is, why can't you use graphene CS3 as a pre-wash, stuff like that. Instead of going to the other side, like I'm gonna grab a new towel, not for any specific reason, but just to show you guys this. So after your towel gets heavily soiled on both sides, like this, from pulling the dirt off, you're just gonna take this and set it in here. And this has towel and pad revitalizer in it. So this is designed to really break down. You can see I just squeezed it and how dirty the water got. So this is like my towel cleaning soak that I'll let that sit in there while I do this whole process. And by the time I'm done cleaning up and everything, I can wring those out outside, and then I'll take it and wash them in my laundry machine, washer. And those towels will pretty much be ready for the next time that I do this. So I don't think I have any graphene CS3 like handy, but I have regular CS3 right here. So I'll just talk to you about it really fast. So I touched on this earlier. CS3 stands for, so C stands for ceramic, S stands for spray, and 3 stands for 3 different things that this formula does. So, and the 3 things are listed below. So ceramic spray, meaning it contains silica, SiO2, very, very popular protection agent in our industry, okay? Now, silica or SiO2 is a different form of ceramic than what comes in our graphene ceramic spray coating or our graphene ceramic coatings. Okay, those are polysilazane based or silazane based ceramic coatings. This is a silica based like sealant. Now, polysilazane is what is in our super concentrated bottles, the 60 ml bottles or the 12 ounce bottles of the graphene spray coating. Silazane cannot be mixed with water. It can't be solubilized into water. Now, in the car care industry, you have vehicle agents, meaning how can we, the thing we want inside this bottle to go onto the car is the shine enhancements, the waterless wash solution, and the silica protection. How can we get that out of this bottle through this sprayer and onto this car? Well, you can't just put the raw material in there because it would be rock hard. You couldn't do anything with it, right? So you have to mix it with water. So silica can be solubilized into water. So it's solubilized into water. Now when you spray it, it comes out of the sprayer and goes onto the car like that, right? Silazanes cannot be mixed with water. They can't be solubilized into water. So you have to use solvent, which you put it onto the applicator, you put it onto the car, and then the solvent starts to flash off. That's what the rainbow is, leaving the graphene ceramic coating behind, okay? So if you see anyone in our industry, our competitors, us, if you see something that says ceramic spray and it's like mixed with water, which means it's like really thin and almost clear, it's absolutely SiO2 or silica, not even a question. And SiO2 and silica, although a great protection agent, just doesn't have the durability that a silazane-based ceramic coating has. So silicas tend to last, everyone says a year, but it's more, you're talking about like a few months. But the things that make silica so great is they're easy to use. You spray it on, you wipe it off. So like you could do that to your car every week or every month and it will always be protected, right? But it's not as durable or as strong as a silazane based coating. So CS3 is a silica or SiO2 based spray sealant is what most people will call it. And this is used, the clean means it has waterless wash agents to it. So it has lubrication. So your towel can glide and it can pull dirt away and do all that stuff. So it reduces scratching while you use it. The shine is like what detail spray has. It has like a little bit of wax and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And that helps make your car look shiny. And then the protect is the ceramic in it, which is the silica. So that's what CS3 as a whole is, okay? Now graphene CS3 is the same exact thing, but they take something called reduced graphene oxide, which is a derivative of graphene, and they pair the molecules with the silica, because reduced graphene oxide paired with silica can still be solubilized into water. So the reduced graphene oxide gives it an extra molecule chain that bolsters the protection inside of the bottle, making it last a little bit longer as a silica spray sealant. So graphene CS3 is essentially the same exact thing with just one different element, which makes the protection perform better. Okay, so graphene CS3 or regular CS3, I don't really care, but for me, what they did with graphene CS3 is they concentrated it a little bit more than regular CS3. So what happens is when you spray it onto a car and it dries right away, especially in a hot day, the silica stays on the surface, and then when you try to wipe it off, it gets streaky. You kind of move it around, it doesn't actually come off because that silica in reduced graphene oxide is drying on the surface. It happens with CS3, but it's not as pronounced, I would say, as graphene CS3. So when we get into the question about why not use graphene CS3 as a pre-treatment? Well, the protection agents in it, when you spray it on here and pre-treat it, you don't want any protection agents in a pre-treatment, because if the water of it evaporates and the protection agents in graphene CS3 stay, when you go to clean it, it's going to be very difficult to clean because the silica and reduced graphene oxide is staying on the surface. So like you use waterless or like the Hoseless wash solution pre-treatment that I did. The reason why I did that is that has more power of pulling dirt away from the car. So you do a Hoseless wash or waterless wash pre-treatment, which is actually pulling dirt away from the car. Then you go mega foam on top, and the weight of the thick foam of mega foam and the slickness of the waterless wash or Hoseless wash underneath, the foam mixed with all the dirt and grime, boom, falls down onto the car. You can see it all sitting right there from the front of the car, right? So like that's a mixture of mega foam, Hoseless wash pre-treatment, and dirt and grime, right? So I want to get as much of the dirt off the car before I start touching it, right? And that's why like the towel, I did like this whole top section and my towel was barely dirty at all because I already pre-treated it with mega foam and the pre-treatment spray. So using a spray that has any sort of protection in it is an absolute no-no when it comes to pre-treating, because you're not trying to protect the dirt that's on top, right? And you don't want the water to evaporate out of it and the protection agent to stay. It's not a process that works. You want something that pulls dirt away. The reason why I have this on my cart or in my back pocket is once I'm done with you can see how streaky this Hoseless wash solution is all over this window, okay? You can see how streaky it is. Now, once I'm done finishing doing the Hoseless wash process on the whole car, then I come back with the CS3 because it has waterless wash properties in it, it has shine enhancement in it, and it has the protection in it. Then I take the towel, I kept 2 towels out of my bucket, my Hoseless wash solution bucket. I kept 2 towels. I keep them 1 for each side. Now I just take this, less is more with CS3. So when I spray, I move my hand as I spray. So it's just like 1, 2, like that. And I take my towel, and now when I do long, fast swipes like this, I even out all the leftover Hoseless wash residue with CS3, and now the car is not only protected, it's shiny, but the waterless wash solution inside of the CS3 helped my towel glide and not cause any scratching if there was any dirt left behind from my hoseless wash process. There's my 2-sentence answer. There's a lot of commas in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, does that, I hope that like makes sense to everybody, because I think there's, you know what I almost did today for the live was go up on a whiteboard and explain what ceramic is as a whole. And if you guys are interested in me doing that, I can absolutely do that. I think there's this weird, I talk about this a lot at Adams Polishes, but like in our industry, marketing is everything, right? And there's ways to market being honest, and then there's ways to market to maybe bending the truth a little bit to be able to sell more product. Adams Polishes, I hope that you guys understand this. We are very, very genuine and honest about our products and how they work. Like, I'm not gonna try to sell you a ceramic spray coating that is solubilized in water. It's just, that's not what it is, right? Ceramic spray coating to us is an extension of an actual ceramic coating that is a silazane-based coating, but it's just diluted more with solvent, but still performs the same way as a true ceramic coating would perform. So that's why we have graphene ceramic spray coatings. They are a silazane-based ceramic coating. It just means there's more solvent than there is. It's about 80% solvent, 20% of the silazane and reduced graphene oxide, and a bunch of other stuff, but it still performs the same as if you put a ceramic coating on. You spray it onto an applicator, you put it on, it rainbows. Once the rainbow goes away, you wipe it off, now your car's ceramic coated. Or you can use a super concentrated bottle, which is 50% solvent and 50% reduced graphene oxide and silazane. And that, when there's more material in the bottle that goes onto an applicator and onto your car, it leaves a thicker layer behind. So graphene ceramic spray coating and graphene ceramic coating advanced are the same exact formula, just the ratios altered, so they wear away at the same exact time. So if on this car, this is like total hypothetical, but let's say that the graphene ceramic coating advanced is a layer this thick and the graphene ceramic spray coating is this thick. If they wear away at the same time, boom, this has gone away and there's still this much left on here. That's why, like, when we talk about years, you know, the spray coating lasts 2 years because it's wearing away at the same rate. It's just like, if you put graphene ceramic spray coating advanced on and it lasted 2 years, and you put the graphene ceramic coating advanced on and it lasts 9 years, after 2 years, the graphene ceramic coating advanced will still have 7 years because the durability is the exact same. Now, here's the thing that sucks, is that's assuming that everybody's environment and where they live is the exact same. So like when Adam and I talk about the year ratings, him and I both say it's completely bullcrap, because I can't predict how all of you guys care for your car. I can't predict how somebody in Florida cares for their car, or somebody in California, or somebody in Montana, right? Like in Colorado, ceramic coatings do not last nearly as long as they last in California, because there's a completely different reality of what kind of weather and harshness to the weather that you see on cars like this. So like,
outside, inside.
Park it outside, park it inside. Do you drive it every day? You know,
Poop and sap.
there's just so many different factors that, for me, instead of being like, oh, hey, it's gonna last 9 years on your car. Listen, the most robust protection that you can put on your car is a graphene ceramic coating. Now, what happens is, because it's harder than clear coat, it doesn't take in as much damage. So it's easier to correct and easier to work with. So like for me, there's more of a functionality benefit than there is like how long does it actually last. We could get in the pissing match of whose ceramic coating lasts the longest, but it doesn't really matter, because you still have to care for your car. Like I always say, like, with great ceramic coatings still come great responsibilities. Like, you can't put a ceramic coating on your car and never touch it again. You can't put a ceramic coating on your car and take it through a brushed drive-through car wash. You're working against yourself, right? But you can put a ceramic coating on your car, still do a 2-bucket wash, and it's more efficient and faster, and your car comes out looking better because the ceramic coating's helping you. So like there's just like a different thought process around it. And I think in our industry, the easy thing to do for cheap asses that are marketing to you is to go, our ceramic coating lasts the longest, you should put ours on, never have to touch it ever again. I'm like, man, you're selling me something that is not real. You know, like we're smart enough to look past that. But I want you guys to understand that like the graphene ceramic coating is more of a tool than it is, you know, it's not something to brag of how long your ceramic coating lasts. And that's partially the reason why I personally like to use the spray coating, because there's more benefit to it for me than of just how long it lasts. Because I think what happens to a lot of people is they put the graphene ceramic coating advanced on their car, they get caught in a rainstorm, which in a rainstorm, the water's mixing with all the oil that's on the ground, splashes up on your car, and they go to wash their car, and the whole bottom half of their car is flat, which is an indication that there's no ceramic coating on it, or there's no protection on your car. And they go, my ceramic coating failed. It's like, really? Like you use a degreasing shampoo like graphene shampoo, you wash it and then you rinse it off, and now boom, the ceramic coating's perfect again. Ceramic coatings they don't shed oil, they don't shed paint overspray, they don't shed tree sap. They're hydrophobic, they shed water. So like if there's oil on a ceramic coating, some people would say it's clogged up. No, there's just a film on top. You got to get that film off of your car to get back to the actual ceramic coating that's on your car. If you don't clay your car consistently, you're going to have paint overspray, tree sap, road tar sitting on top that is not hydrophobic. You didn't coat over it. It's not hydrophobic. It gives water a place to grab onto. So if you don't get that off, it's going to look like your car is not ceramic coated. So there's like very much a reality to the ceramic coating aspect of all of this, because I think the easy thing is like you just, and that's like what everybody wants, you know? It's like, I remember Robin Williams had this bit about this. I hope you guys are okay if I talk about this, but like it's like depression medication, and he was like, I just want a medication that does everything and call it F it all. You know, like I just want something that does everything. It's like that's just not possible. You know, like ceramic coatings are not going to solve all of your car care needs, but it's going to make them way easier. One thing I do want to mention as I go on my rant is he has PPF on his car right here, right here, right here. Instead of pushing dirt against the seam that's right there, I'm going to go towards the windshield, so I go over the seam and not into it. So it's kind of like that.
Chester, I'm going to apply a second coat of 60 mil in April-ish. Applied the first coat in September. Any tips to make the most out of it? What do you do to make the most out of doing a second coat?
Doing a second coat.
Yeah, so September, gonna do it in April. Maybe ask where I don't know where he's from, so maybe that.
Did Chester say that's like the advanced 60 mil?
Yeah, advanced 60 mil.
Yeah, I have like a few tips, but you know, I would say, I think one thing, like if you want to leave behind like the most the thickest layer of the ceramic coating on your car, like you could try using the spray coating as a removal agent. So one thing I've done before in weather conditions that make ceramic coatings not easy to apply, I will put on the ceramic coat, like either whether it's graphene ceramic coating advanced or the regular graphene ceramic coating. I will put it on and I'll let it go too long to the point where it's hard to wipe off. And instead of pushing harder to wipe it off, I will actually take a bottle of spray coating and I'll just spray into the larger the microfiber applicators, just one quick spray, to almost rehydrate the coating that I let go too long. Just go over it really fast and then wipe it off immediately. And it's kind of like a removal agent to allow the graphene ceramic coating advance to cure longer, to then rehydrate it with the spray coating to then wipe it off.
You're saying do your 60 mil, let it sit for a little bit longer than you normally would,
Yep.
and have spray coating with you.
Yeah, exactly.
If you
Yep.
have spray coating with you,
Yeah, if you have the ability to have spray coating with you, or if you like, it doesn't even have to be the spray coating advanced. Like it could be the regular graphene spray coating. And that's just like a way. If you think about it, I don't know, Chester, if you've ever like applied wax, but there's times where like you apply wax to the whole car and you get to the front and it's like the wax is cured so much that when you try to wipe it off, it's just like too sticky. It's too hard to get off. You take like detail spray and you spray it onto the car and then wipe it off. It's kind of like the same concept. You're just like rehydrating it to make wiping it off a little bit easier. I hope that makes sense. If anything, Chester's going to do that in April. What I'll do is I'll make a note and maybe I will do a live video on that thing I was just explaining.
makes sense. So where are we at in this process, I guess?
So where we're at right now is I'm.
Recap of what we've.
You want a full recap, huh?
No, I want a quick recap.
He wants a step-by-step recap. Essentially, I just I did a rant about ceramic coatings, and essentially, I'm kind of like going back through and continuing the hoseless wash process.
I guess that's what I mean. The process here, like kind of what we did.
Yeah,
I'm
just continuing on the process of the hoseless wash to other parts of the car. And then I touched on it briefly, but I'll just show you really quick after I'm done doing this. After I'm done doing the hoseless wash process, meaning the process where I have like the plush towels inside of my premium bucket. After I'm done doing that, essentially by the time you get back to where you started, you're gonna have a lot of hoseless wash residue that's still on the car. Granted, a lot of the dirt and everything is gonna be off of the car,
more just
right?
this.
Yeah, so it's like
just
dried hoseless wash on the car from your wiping process. So remember, when you're done with one of the towels and they're dirty, throw it into your towel and pad revitalizer solution and just mix them in like that. Okay, now I'm gonna take my gloves off. But once you get back to where you started, like I said, let's say that I ended on that side over there and I came back and I started here. This will be dry, that side will be wet. And so what I'm gonna do right now is I will start touching the car up with CS3. Okay, so and another quick tip too is like one thing you could do is take your towel. I still have this pre-treatment of hoseless wash. I diluted into a waterless wash essentially, but like I forgot to wipe off the mirror right here. I forgot to wipe off all the dirt on that mirror. You see that? So I can just take my pre-treatment hoseless wash diluted, and instead of using CS3, I'll just spray this on here really fast and take a towel and wipe it off. So like if you have any areas that maybe you missed during that process, you can hit it with your hoseless wash diluted solution and get it really quick. Now, last thing I like to do, I talked about it right here a little bit, but all of the hoseless wash solution that's still on here, I'm just gonna go and wipe the car down to even everything out and add a little bit of protection with the silica that I just went on a whole rant on. So just a couple sprays. Less is more with this product. Spray it on, long, fast swipes when you wipe. Like that. so I like to keep this as like a square in my hand. It just works better for me. Quick, fast swipes.
A little bit of pressure.
Barely any pressure. Scrubbing is scratching. So like if you're pushing hard while you wipe, you have more of a chance of scratching. 1, 2, 3, right there. Keep wiping this off like so. Even if the car is still a little bit wet, it's it's still okay.
What about this other side of the windshield here?
Yeah, I forgot to wipe that off. I still need to go through and do a lot more hoseless wash, but I'm just kind of showing you, because I'm sure we're getting to the time when we need to end.
We are, yeah. But that's something, would you do like that windshield up there with
that windshield,
diluted
you know,
almost,
later. No, I wouldn't, because I still have to do this whole roof, and I still have to do the whole back and the whole side. So I'm going to utilize the most effective way to do it without scratching is using your towels in the hoseless wash solution. So like I could get away with it's just a little bit too much. You know, the hoseless wash with a plush towel is going to be a much better process for that. You know, so I'm just doing this really quick so we can end here in a second. But same thing on the wheels, just a couple quick sprays, and take my towel and just wipe this off really quick. Now again, it's like not perfect, but from where we started, you know, I'm at like, let's call it, I'm at 75% on this process, right? Like it's not like the standard that we talk about all the time, you know, but if you come back here and look at it, and what I want Elin to do is go on that side and show you essentially what we started with. So on the other side, we haven't done anything. So you can see, like, I don't know if it's really a before and after, but like you can see on this side the effect of what the hoseless wash and everything did. And the amount of scratching that we get from it is very, very minimal because the formula is designed to encapsulate and pull away and just make it look a lot better. So again, just to recap for you guys, like warm or hot water in your buckets. I put 4 plush towels or borderless gray plush towels inside the bucket with a hoseless wash solution. I use about 5 ounces of hoseless wash. I diluted the hoseless wash into a IK trigger sprayer for a pre-treatment. I use maybe 3 ounces, probably 2 to 3 ounces of our hoseless wash. You can see I still have about half, so I used probably 6 ounces total. So probably more like 4 ounces and 2 ounces. And then I had my, can't really tell, but I had it, you can see some of the dry, but I had mega foam in here, diluted into water as if I was using it like a foam cannon. So what we did first and foremost is we got everything set up. That kind of goes without saying. Then we pre-treated the car with the hoseless wash dilution. And we sprayed the dirtiest parts of the car first. So, you know, the front clip, the whole below the belt line on the car, the whole back of the car. The back of your car gets dirtier more than any other place. So we pre-treated it with that. After I was done pre-treating, I foamed it down with the mega foam solution, and the weight of the foam, because it's so thick, actually worked with the pre-treat spray, and it pulled a lot of the dirt and grime off of the car all the way onto the ground. Like you can see how dirty the ground is from just the foam coming off of the car.
All the dirt on the ground is from that.
Yes.
You didn't spray any water.
Exactly. Exactly. So you can see how much dirt is on the ground that we were working with, right? Now, after we did that and we foamed it, then we put our towels inside of the hoseless wash solution, got it all mixed up, and then we started wiping the car. And it wasn't like wipe. It was like wipe your hand and roll it at the same time to make sure you have a fresh side of the towel touching the car at all times. And then we essentially, like if it got too soiled onto the towel, like we had too much dirt that came off of the car and into the towel, then we flipped our towel over to have another fresh side of the towel. And then when it got too dirty to continue to use on the car, we put it inside of our towel and pad revitalizer solution, which is like the towel cleaning product that we sell. And this is like a soak here. So like I'm soaking my towels in here, and actually if you look at this, watch, I'll pull these towels out and just look how dirty the water is just from letting them soak inside there. Okay, so the towel and pad revitalizer is like breaking down all the stuff that's inside the towel, pulling it out. And you know, once I'm done with this whole process, I'll wring these towels out outside and I'll go wash them in my washer and dryer. But then, you know, from doing the hoseless wash process, you leave a lot of residue behind because you're not trying to finish it perfect, because these have so much of the solution inside of them that then we follow it up with CS3, which has some, that is definitely not CS3, has CS3, which has some waterless wash capabilities, some shine enhancement, which for me looking at this car, it looks shiny to me. When you like look at it in the, you see the light. Yeah, so then we followed up with CS3 to even everything out, and essentially the car is gonna look 75% perfect, you know, versus like if I do it outside with a pressure washer and all the other stuff, you know, obviously we can use the pressure washer to get into the fender wells, we can clean the wheels easier. Not on this car, but on another car, you could clean the engine. You know, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do when you're outside washing, but 20 degrees outside just doesn't warrant us to do that. I'm inside in a temperature controlled garage with warm water. It's very pleasant and very easy. And if I wasn't talking and going on rants during the whole live, I probably could have got this done in 45 minutes pretty quickly. You know, it's not too hard of a process. So, you know, I think for you guys, I just want you guys to know that like Adams Polishes has everything in the book when it comes to detailing. Hoseless Wash is just one of those products that if you're water restricted, if you live in an apartment, if you live in a condo, you don't have a place that you can go pull your car into a driveway and DIY wash and do all this stuff, you still can get your car looking amazing, and just with some tools like this.
Move over here a second.
Yeah.
Get you in front of the car, that background there. Real quick question from Ken Wilson. Would the process you just used with the pre-treatment and megafoam be a good pre-treatment for a vehicle with dried on mud, and caked on mud, off-roading and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, so Ken Wilson essentially asked, like, would that pre-treatment with megafoam be a good process to do with like a car that has caked on mud? And I'm assuming he's talking more about like when you're outside with a pressure washer kind of thing. You know, I think so, but the hard part about like caked on mud is like when it's so caked on and you can't see the actual paint of the car, you're essentially kind of wasting the product because it's just kind of going into the mud, right? In this case, when you look on the side of the car, it's extremely dirty, but like you can still see like the paint of the car. So like even though it's very dirty, spraying the pre-treatment is kind of dissolving stuff, pulling it away from the car, whereas like if it's too muddy, it's almost like not worth it. I think for me, what's that?
Oh, it's right there, perfect.
Oh, for me, like when it comes to a you know, an off-road vehicle that's been mudding and stuff, there's an absolute reality to that car. I think that most of those cars sometimes are perfect, a lot of the time they're not. So like just really, I'll just explain this to you. If I went up to the mountains and I went mudding, I would not even get to my driveway before I start rinsing it off. I don't want all of that mud in my driveway. I then have to clean my driveway, spray it all down. I would take it to a pay and spray first. They have, you know, high-powered pressure washers. You're talking about 2,500 to 2,000 PSI. Use that to get as much of the dirt and mud off, and then bring it to your house and then do the pre-treatment with megafoam, okay? The big chunks of mud you want to get off first. If it looks like this, where it's like really muddy and dirty like this, and I know like in certain areas, like in Utah, you get more of like a red clay. It's very, very thin type of dirt, or like dust almost. That stuff's nasty, but like that, using the pre-treatment of like Hoseless Wash pre-treated on the car, that's a really good process to use. So yeah, anytime you pre-treat, whether it's waterless wash, I personally like using Hoseless wash because I can customize how diluted I want it to be. So yeah, it always works really well. But I think especially on a process like this, when you're doing Hoseless wash or rinseless wash, it's very important because it creates more lubricity, less scratching, things like that. So yeah, I hope today's live was at least interesting enough. I mean, I think this is a process that gets underutilized. I mean, feel this, Elon. It's like perfectly clean. It's like very, very slick. You know, it's like, you know, the fact that we can get the car this clean like that without needing the pressure washer or anything, you know, it's just a testament to the product and this process, you know, that I think is super unique and cool. So, you know, if you're an apartment person, condo, you're on a road trip, your restriction to water, this Hoseless wash process is a cool thing. Also, listen, if you live in a winter reality like Colorado or Wyoming or Lake Tahoe, whatever, and you're trying to keep up with cleaning your car consistently, and you know you can pull it into the garage and do this process, I recommend it because it makes the big cleaning job a lot easier when you get to that point. So probably here in 2 weeks in Colorado, the weather is going to start to stabilize, get back into the 40s and 50s. The roads will be dry, and then we can start getting into strip wash with all the other crazy foaming and using the pressure washer and all that stuff. But for now, just getting it clean like this is okay with me for now, you know? So, and if I really wanted to blast off my fender wells, which I would recommend doing this, if you're gonna do this Hoseless wash process, what you can do is go to the pay and spray first. Spray your car down, spray the fender wells, spray the undercarriage, clean your wheels if you want while you're there, and then pull it into your garage and then do the Hoseless wash process. So like at least you can clean your wheels and your fender wells and your door jams and all that stuff, and then bring it here, go into your garage, do the Hoseless wash. So like you can get very creative with it if you really want to do your whole car, you know? So yeah, thank you guys for the questions. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you guys next week. Like I said, I'll be in Barrett-Jackson. I get there tomorrow. I come back Saturday, but I might even try to go live like on Friday or something so you guys can see some of the cars. They have a lot of movie cars there this time, which is cool.
The Huda truck.
Yeah, the Huna truck's there, which is crazy. There's a Porsche Comfort there too. That thing is amazing. But yeah, anyways, I might go live and just hang out and show you guys. So if anything, we'll send a notification out on Instagram, and then you can hang out like on Friday. And then next week we'll talk about how to request for anti-fog. Also had a request on, or didn't have a request, but I've been thinking about doing iron remover.
And then that one that you were saying in the whiteboard.
Yeah, if you guys,
they said a lot of people were like, yeah, that'd be sick.
oh really? Okay. Yeah, I can try to break down ceramic coatings. And listen, my take is very in line with like our chemist who developed it, as well as like Adam. There's a lot of different ways to think about it, and the more ways you think about it and the more ways I can explain it helps you understand how you can use it for yourself, right? Because detailing is a very personal thing, you know? I like the spray coating, other people don't, and I think that's completely fine. There's no wrong answers. Whatever works for you, as long as you're taking care of your car, you're already winning. So if I can explain it in a way that you're like, oh, actually, I kind of want to try that, and then you try it, and you're like, this is it. This is my process. I love it, you know? And my other suggestion is like, don't fix what is not broken. Like, if there's something that's working for you, continue to do it. You can always revert back to it, but you can explore a little bit. But the things that work for you those are going to be enjoyable for you. So detailing is a very personal thing, and that's one thing I love about it. I learned so much from different people, and then I'll try this process and be like, I don't know, I like the way I was doing it. But sometimes I try a different process and I go like, that was really cool. I definitely am going to do that again, you know? So just a lot of different stuff. And I think part of my goal this year for 2025 on the live is like, we have a ton of products. We have over 250 SKUs. And I think a lot of the gripe we get at Adams Polishes is like, it's too confusing. What I want to do is try to bring some clarity to it, to you guys, because I see it in different categories. It's like when you look at a toolbox, right? You have like You have your wrenches, you have your sockets, you have your Allen wrenches, you have your screwdrivers, you have this. It's all sectioned off, and you grab the tool that you need for the job that you're doing. That's how I see Adams Polishes. It's like each product has a very specific purpose to it. It just might not be understood very well. So I want to bring some clarity to our line to everybody. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. And if I don't see you Friday, I'll see you next Wednesday for the live video. And probably anti-fog might be the one that we're going to do, because that's something I can do inside. So I'll catch you guys next week. Thank you.